Welcome back to our channel.
Hey, welcome back to Learn English with Joynob. I'm Julie.
And I'm Jack. Today's episode is super helpful for anyone learning English. We're talking about thinking in English.
Yup, if you want to speak English faster and more naturally, you have to start thinking in English, not in your native language first. Sounds tricky? Don't worry, we're going to make it easy and fun.
Totally.
So today, we'll start with a big question. How do you train yourself to think in English?
Okay, let's start with how to train your brain to think in English. It's kind of like going to the gym, but not for your muscles, for your brain. No dumbbells, just words, Theo.
Yes, and the best part? You don't even need a gym membership. You don't need a teacher or a class. You just need one very important thing. You. Oh, hand, maybe your toothbrush. Chan.
Exactly, because here's the deal. As soon as you wake up in the morning, start thinking in English. Even if you're still in bed with one eye open and hair like a bird's nest. Raw. Say in your head things like, Ugh, I'm so sleepy. Where's my phone? I need coffee right now.
Or when you're brushing your teeth, try this. I am brushing my teeth. This toothpaste is so minty. My mouth is full of foam. I look like a snowman.
Yes, you just describe what's happening. Even if it's boring or silly, just talk to yourself. Now I'm walking to the kitchen. Oh no, the floor is cold. Where are my socks? My toes are freezing.
I do this all the time, even when I'm alone. I say, okay, I'm opening the fridge. Why did I open the fridge? What am I looking for?
That happens to me every day. I call it fridge confusion syndrome.
But really it's powerful stuff. Because when you do this, you're telling your brain, hey, it's English time now.
Exactly. You're flipping the switch inside your brain. Dinglish on. Nope, translation off.
And hey, you don't need to say it loudly. If you're on the bus or in a quiet room, just whisper or even think silently. Quiet English is still English.
Totally! Even if you're just standing in line, you can think, okay, this line is long. That guy in front of me is wearing a big hat. I hope I get my food soon.
It might sound silly, but it's like planting little seeds in your brain. English seeds. Every tiny effort you make, even if it feels small, is helping your mind grow in the language. Would you agree that nurturing these seeds every day really makes a difference?
Absolutely. If you water those seeds daily with your thoughts, one day you'll wake up and your brain feels like an English garden. Someone once told me it's like being surrounded by blooming flowers. Each one a new word or phrase you've learned, ready to greet you every morning.
That's such a great image, a happy little brain garden full of English flowers and butterflies. It really shows that learning a language is about creating a beautiful, living space in your mind, doesn't it?
Exactly. And for those listening who feel a bit shy, remember, you don't need to be loud or perfect. Consistency is what matters. Start small. Try thinking in English for just 1 minute, then try 5, and gradually it becomes automatic.
It's just like when you reach for your phone without thinking. You want your brain to reach for English words just as naturally. So don't stress about sounding perfect. Just begin your day with a little English, even a simple sentence like, good morning. Time to wake up, sleepyhead.
That's all it takes. Every sentence you think in English is another step toward fluency. Talk to your toothbrush, your fridge, your socks, even your cat. English isn't just for classrooms or tests, it's for real life, and you can use it all day long.
All right, let's move on to how you can think fast and speak fast in English. We've all had that moment when someone suddenly asks, what did you do yesterday? And your brain just freezes like it's buffering or stuck on slow Wi-Fi. How do we get past that?
It's so true. In those moments, it feels like you're desperately waiting for your brain to download the right English words. But here's the key. If you want to speak faster, you need to train your brain to think faster in English so it doesn't get stuck.
Let's start with something simple. Look around and name everything you see, but do it quickly. For example, just go. Table, fan, book, laptop, cup, bag, pen, door, plant. The goal is not to pause or overthink, just let the words flow.
Exactly. Imagine you're on a game show, name 10 things in 10 seconds. And if you step outside, do the same. Car, bike, dog, tree, sky, girl with pink bag, traffic jam, it's like cardio for your brain, helping you build both speed and confidence.
You can even time yourself. Set a timer for 1 minute and see how many English words you can say about what's around you. This kind of fast-paced practice really helps your brain get used to thinking in English on the fly.
Once you're comfortable, level up by quickly describing what you're doing. For example, I'm walking, the sun is hot, I see a man with a hat. He's eating a banana, that dog is barking. It doesn't have to be exciting, just keep going and let the language come naturally.
A lot of learners worry about forgetting words. What should you do if you can't remember a particular term while speaking English? Should you stop and translate, or is there a better way to keep the flow going?
Great question. If you forget a word, like remote, don't freeze up. Just describe it. That thing for the TV. I press buttons. It changes channels. This way, you're training your brain to stay in English mode even when your vocabulary isn't perfect.
Exactly. For example, if you can't remember gloves, you could say, those hand clothes for winter. My fingers are warm. It's like playing charades with yourself, helping your brain find English pathways instead of stopping to translate.
Right, and asking yourself small questions throughout the day can really help. For instance, what's that? That's a bird. What am I doing? I'm waiting for the bus. What do I want? Ice cream always. These quick, simple exchanges keep your mind active in English.
Or try, what time is it? It's 9 a.m. I'm late. What do I see? 2 cats fighting over a sandwich. Even checking in with your feelings. How am I feeling? Sleepy, hungry, silly, happy. These tiny, fast questions make English your default thought process.
All these strategies help you build fluency, not just vocabulary. It's about keeping the conversation in motion, which is much more important than getting every word right. Language is about flow, not perfection.
Let's wrap up with ways to make practicing English no pressure, no fear of mistakes. You can try a speed English challenge every day. Talk about your morning in 30 seconds, describe an object in as many ways as possible, or say 5 sentences about what you see.
For example, this chair is brown. It looks comfy. I sit on it every day. My cat sleeps on it. There's a cookie under it. It might sound silly, but these playful exercises really help you get comfortable thinking and speaking quickly.
And remember, don't try to be perfect. If your grammar is messy, like he go to shop, that's okay. What matters is building speed and confidence. Later, you can focus on getting the details right, but for now, just keep the flow going.
It's just like dancing. You don't stop every step to ask, am I doing it right? You keep moving, letting rhythm and instinct guide you. Plus, you don't need a classroom or a partner, just your brain and your day-to-day life.
You can do this while cooking, waiting in line, or even brushing your hair. People might think you're a little odd, talking to yourself spoon, cup, sink, knife, toast, but really, you're becoming a language ninja, building speed and fluency every day.
Exactly. Every fast little word, every playful sentence is making your English stronger. So don't stop talk fast, think fast, laugh fast, and most importantly, live in English. You're in control of your learning journey.
All right, now let's talk about how to think fast and speak fast in English. You know that awkward moment when someone suddenly asks you a question like, "Hey, what did you do yesterday?" And your brain just goes completely blank, almost like it's buffering and searching for the right words, but nothing comes out.
Yes, it's exactly like your brain is stuck on slow Wi-Fi. You're standing there waiting, thinking, hold on. I'm downloading the English words, but nothing is loading, and you just freeze in the conversation.
Meanwhile, the other person is just staring at you, probably thinking, "Hello, Earth to you?" It can be really embarrassing, and it makes you want to avoid talking altogether, but there's a way to break through this hesitation.
Here's the trick, friends. If you want to speak faster, you've really got to train your brain to think faster in English, not your native language. That's the key difference, and it's what helps conversations flow naturally.
Let's start with something super simple to get your brain moving. Look around wherever you are and name everything you see as quickly as you can. Don't overthink it. Just say the English word for each object you notice, one after the other, without pausing.
Exactly. For example, you could say table, fan, book, laptop, cup, bag, pen, door, plant. The point is to keep the words coming in rapid fire, like you're on a game show and have to name 10 things in 10 seconds.
No time for hesitation, just go, go, go. If you're outside, do the same thing. Car, bike, dog, tree, sky, girl with pink bag. Traffic jam. Challenge yourself and even set a timer for 1 minute to see how many English words you can name.
It's almost like cardio for your brain. The more you do this, the faster your mind gets used to retrieving English words. You're training your brain to move quickly in English, not just to learn new vocabulary, and that's what builds true fluency.
Okay, now let's level up. Try describing what you're doing in real time, but keep it fast and simple. For example, as you walk, say things like, "I'm walking, the sun is hot. I see a man with a hat, he's eating a banana. That dog is barking."
Or if you're making tea, try, "I'm making tea. The water is boiling. I need sugar. Oops, I spilled some." Even if your actions are boring, say them out loud. "I am sitting on the bed. My socks don't match." I don't care. It's all about building speed.
And here's a key tip. Don't stop if you forget a word. If you can't remember remote, just describe it. That thing for the TV. I press buttons. It changes channels. You're still communicating and your brain stays in English mode.
Exactly. Or if you forget gloves, say, "Those hand clothes. For winter, my fingers are warm." It's like playing charades with yourself. You train your mind to find creative English solutions instead of getting stuck translating from your native language.
Another great trick is to ask yourself small, quick questions throughout your day, like, "What's that?" "That's a bird." Or, "What am I doing?" "I'm waiting for the bus." These mini conversations help keep your brain thinking in English all day long.
You can make it even more fun by trying a speed English challenge daily. For example, do a 30-second story about your morning, describe one object in as many ways as possible in a minute, or use the 5-sentence challenge to talk about what you see around you.
Like this. "This chair is brown. It looks comfy. I sit on it every day. My cat sleeps on it. There's a cookie under it." The goal isn't perfection. It's to keep moving and building confidence, even if your grammar isn't perfect yet.
Absolutely. Think of it like dancing. If you stop every step to check if you're doing it right, you lose the rhythm. Just keep going. You don't need a classroom or partner. You just need your brain, your day, and the courage to talk to yourself in English wherever you are. So far, we've explored the basics of retraining your brain to think in English and the importance of speed. But now, we're moving into the really exciting partactual activities you can use every day to strengthen that English thinking mindset. Ready for some hands-on techniques?
Absolutely. This is where it gets fun. These activities are designed to fit right into your daily routine and make English feel natural. Whether you're at home, out and about, or just relaxing, you can use these tools to start thinking directly in English, no matter your level.
Perfect. So before we dive in, grab a snack or your favorite cup of tea, and let's get started with these brain-boosting exercises. We're calling this section Everyday English Thinking Activities.
Great! Let's jump right into the first activity, which is super simple but incredibly effective. It's called Name and Describe.
This exercise sounds straightforward, but I bet it's more powerful than it looks. Can you explain how name and describe works and why it matters for thinking in English?
Definitely. All you do is look at anything around you and say its name plus one detail about it out loud or in your head. For example, this is my notebook. It has a blue cover. Or, this is my phone. It's cracked. The goal is to describe real things in real time, forming simple English sentences.
I love that. Let me try. This is my fan. It's noisy but helpful. Or, this is my shirt. It's soft and smells like lemon soap. It almost becomes a game, and the habit forces you to think directly in English, skipping any translation step.
Exactly. The beauty is in its simplicity. You're practicing observation and sentence building, and over time, you'll find your English thoughts coming more naturally. Plus, you can do it anywhere on the bus, in your kitchen, wherever you are.
Another technique that's helped me a lot is the mirror talk game. Can you walk us through how this works and why it's so effective for language learners?
Of course! Mirror talk is like a one-person interview. You stand in front of the mirror and have a conversation with yourself in English. For example, you might say, "Hey Julie, how's your day?" And then answer, not bad. A little tired. I need coffee. It's about practicing both sides of a dialogue, which builds confidence and fluency.
I actually do this while brushing my teeth. I'll look at myself and say, "Good morning, Jack. You look sleepy. Why do you look like a zombie today?" It feels silly, but it's effective. It gets my brain thinking in English first thing in the morning.
That's the whole point. Even if it feels funny, you're practicing real-life English in a low-pressure way. You can address your worries, plan your day, or just make jokes. It all counts as valuable practice.
Let's talk about imagination practice. How does visualizing scenes in English help develop thinking skills? And could you share an example of how listeners can try this themselves?
Definitely. Just close your eyes and picture a place, maybe a beach, a market, your kitchen, and describe it in English. For instance, the sun is bright, the sand is warm, I hear seagulls. The water is blue. I feel relaxed. This exercise uses your senses and helps you form full sentences based on what you imagine.
That's fantastic! Here's my version. I imagine a busy street. Cars are honking, people are walking fast, a dog is barking, I smell food. It really puts you in the moment and forces you to use descriptive language naturally.
Absolutely. And if you want to make it even more practical, try the shopping list game. Pretend you're in the store and think through your list in English. Let's see. I need rice, eggs, milk. Where are the bananas? Should I buy cookies? No. Okay. Maybe yes. It's a fun way to practice thinking in English about everyday situations. Jack, this next topic dives really deep right inside your own mind. Have you ever noticed that tiny voice in your head, the one that quietly asks things like, "What should I eat today?" Or panics, "Oh no, I forgot my keys again." That voice is actually central to language learning.
Absolutely, Julie. That internal monologue is what we call the inner voice, and it's with us all the time. The exciting part is you can actually train that voice to speak English. Even if you never say it out loud, thinking in English is a huge step forward.
Exactly. It can start with simple thoughts, just the same natural ideas you have every day. For example, instead of thinking "I'm tired" in your native language, you can consciously shift to thinking it in English, like "I'm tired" or "I don't want to do this now."
That's how I began, too. I'd catch myself with little phrases like, "I'm hungry," "It's hot today," or "I love this song." Over time, those small internal dialogues really add up and make English feel more natural in your mind.
Jack, do you ever find yourself swapping out those automatic reactions in your language for English ones? For instance, when something goes wrong and you might usually say, "Uff," do you now think, "Oh man," or "Are you serious?" instead?
Definitely. It's become second nature for me to react in English. If I spill something or miss a bus, my inner voice goes, "This is such a mess!" These little shifts help me stay in the English mindset even during unexpected moments.
And making it playful really helps too. Sometimes I'll think, I need coffee or I'm going to cry, or this pillow is my best friend today. When you add humor, it keeps your brain engaged and makes the language stick.
Exactly. It's about living in English, not just studying it. When you react, complain, or joke in English, you're training your brain to process the language just like a native speaker would, even inside your own thoughts.
So the more you practice this internal English, the quicker your thoughts will naturally switch over. Eventually, you'll stop translating from your native language because your brain realizes, oh, we're using English now, got it.
That's right. At first, it might feel a bit slow or awkward, but with daily practice, it becomes smoother. Over the weeks and months, you'll notice that English just starts to flow without even thinking about each word.
It's almost like magic, but it's really the result of your own consistent effort. You're rewiring your brain to process English as a default, which is a huge achievement in any language learning journey.
And the best part is, you create this magic yourself. All it takes is a little bit of practice each day, and soon you'll notice the transformation in your ability to think and react in English seamlessly.
So, everyone listening, keep talking to yourself in English. Whether you're alone, tired, or just cooking noodles, those moments all count. The more you use English in your daily life, the more natural it becomes.
Exactly. English isn't just a subject you study in school, it's something you can weave into your entire day, your mind, and your personal experiences. Every small effort helps you build fluency over time.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're here to support you every step of the way, cheering you on as you integrate English into your habits and routines.
That's the spirit. So keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and soon you'll find that it feels just as natural as your native language. We're excited to see your progress and help you along the way.
Okay, friends, we've already explored brain training, quick thinking, and some fun exercises. But now it's time for what I believe is the most important point of all. If you truly want to speak English more naturally and increase your speed, there's a key habit you need to change.
Absolutely. This is a game changer. I can't emphasize enough how much this affected my fluency. The biggest step is to stop translating every word in your head and instead start thinking directly in English. That's what made a major difference for me.
Exactly. And today's final and most essential advice is just that. Stop translating, start thinking in English. When you do, you'll notice a huge improvement in how quickly and comfortably you can communicate.
I remember back in school, I used to try speaking English, but it felt like every sentence took ages to form. I would first think of what I wanted to say in my own language, then painstakingly translate each word, double-check if it sounded right, and only then finally say it out loud.
That sounds so familiar. I think a lot of learners can relate when you're translating in your head, conversations feel slow and awkward. Meanwhile, the person you're talking to is just waiting, sometimes looking at you like they're wondering if you're okay.
Exactly! It made speaking English feel incredibly stressful, and my mind was always exhausted by the end of a simple conversation. It's almost like your brain has to run a marathon just to say a basic sentence.
That's such a great analogy. When you constantly translate before you speak, it's like you're carrying a heavy backpack while running. You're making everything much harder than it needs to be. All that extra processing slows you down and drains your energy.
Yes, and that's the hidden cost of translating. You're not only spending more time thinking, but you're also using up mental energy that would be better spent just expressing yourself spontaneously. The more you can trust your English thinking, the more natural your speech will become.
Let's break this down simply. When you translate, you're following a 4-step process. First, you think of what you want to say in your native language. Then you translate it into English. Next, you check if the sentence is correct. And finally, you speak. That's a lot of steps.
Exactly. That's 4 separate mental actions for every single sentence. No wonder conversations feel slow. But when you train yourself to think in English directly, you remove all those middle steps. It becomes so much more efficient and automatic.
Right. When you're thinking in English, it's just think, then speak. There's no need to mentally translate or double-check every word. Your ideas flow directly into speech, making your responses faster and more natural.
It's almost like turning off the translator in your brain and letting your thoughts connect straight to your words. That shift alone can make your English sound smoother and help you keep up with conversations much more easily.
So, what practical steps can you take to start thinking in English? One effective method is to narrate your daily activities in English, even if you're just talking to yourself. Describe what you're doing or what you see around you using simple English sentences.
That's a fantastic strategy. Another tip is to immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Listen to podcasts, watch shows, or read articles. The more you expose your mind to natural English, the easier it becomes to bypass translation and let English become your default way of thinking.
Absolutely. And don't worry about making mistakes at first. The goal is to build fluency in your thought process, not just accuracy. Over time, your brain adapts, and thinking in English starts to feel natural, even automatic.
I completely agree. Remember, it's a gradual process, but with consistent practice and patience, you'll notice a real difference in your speed and confidence. Soon, English will feel less like a foreign language and more like a natural part of how you communicate. Many learners struggle with thinking in English instead of translating from their native language. Jack, it's not always easy at first, is it? Can you share why this process is possible and what it takes to get started?
Absolutely. It can feel tough in the beginning, but your brain can adapt if you approach it gently, much like physical exercise. You don't become fluent overnight, but with regular practice, your mind starts switching to English more naturally.
Great analogy. Julie, what are some specific strategies that help learners shift away from translating and start thinking directly in English? Maybe you could give us some actionable examples.
One of the best starting points is to use short, simple sentences. Don't aim for complexity. Instead of thinking, I had a very delicious meal today and it made me feel happy, just say, I ate good food. I'm happy. This makes it easier for your brain to stay in English.
That's a helpful tip. Now, let's talk about making connections in your mind. Julie, how can learners move away from associating English words with their native language and instead develop more direct links?
It's all about connecting English words with real images or feelings rather than translations. For instance, when you hear tree, picture a tall green tree in your mind, don't translate it. This method is powerful because it mimics how children learn language naturally.
Jack, do you have a personal example of how you use this technique when learning a new word or phrase in English?
Definitely. When I first learned the word rain, I imagined dark clouds, water falling, and the sound of drops hitting the roof. No translation involved, just pure experience. By linking words to real sensations, your brain absorbs and recalls them much faster.
Let's take it a step further. Julie, how can learners bring English into their everyday thoughts even when they're alone or not in class?
A fun and effective trick is to talk to yourself in your head using English. It might sound silly, but it really works. For example, in the morning, try thinking, I need to brush my teeth. Where is my towel? I'm hungry. These daily thoughts help you practice constantly.
Jack, do you find yourself thinking in English when you're going about your routine, like making breakfast or taking a walk?
All the time. Sometimes I'm in the kitchen and my mind goes, should I eat eggs or toast? Maybe both. It doesn't matter if you're on the bus or in the shower. Use those quiet moments to practice. You don't need to speak out loud. Just keep the thoughts flowing in English.
That's fantastic advice. Julie, are there certain phrases or sentences that learners should repeat until they become automatic? And what attitude should they have about making mistakes along the way?
Absolutely. Learn common phrases like, I don't know, that's okay, or I'm tired until they feel natural. Use them in your head whenever the situation fits. And remember, it's completely normal to make mistakes. That's how you grow.
Jack, can you share a moment when you made mistakes while thinking in English and how that experience helped you improve?
Of course. Early on, I'd think, yesterday I go to park. The grammar wasn't perfect, but the key was thinking in English. Over time, I fixed those mistakes. Mistakes show you're trying and learning, so be proud of them. It means you're moving forward.
Julie, as we wrap up, can you give our listeners a quick recap of the main strategies we've covered for thinking in English and maybe some final encouragement?
Absolutely. Think in short, simple sentences. Connect words with images and feelings instead of translations. Use English in your head every day. Repeat real-life phrases and don't fear mistakes. Every step you take is progress. Keep going.
Jack, any closing words to motivate our audience as they continue building their English brain?
You're doing amazing! Remember, you don't learn to swim by reading, you jump in the water. So, use English in every part of your day and trust that your brain is learning even when it feels slow. Keep thinking, keep smiling, and don't give up.